couple of days into this week.
Okay, so we're good.
It was either July 1st or
Okay.
2nd, so it was, but it all covered, right? Exactly, yep.
So it just worked out that they bookends.
Is that balanced already? Or is that, I mean, is that sorted out already, or?
No, Rob, that'll be one of the adjusting entries when it goes out
Yeah,
June
you're golden.
2011,
Actually, yeah, right, that'd be fine.
which won't be 2 years.
Okay, all right, it's 7:32, and I'm going to call the meeting to order. We're going to add an executive session at the end of the meeting after the second privilege of the floor. Does anyone else want to make any changes to the agenda?
Just move the Pledge of Allegiance up before acceptance of the agenda.
What's that?
Move the Pledge of Allegiance up.
Actually, the acceptance of the agenda officially is supposed to start before the meeting starts, because we're not supposed to change the agenda during the meeting. It's just one of those Robert's Rules things, but,
Okay.
so.
For
we'll
future.
We tried that last time, and it didn't make any difference, so we're trying it this way this time. We'll just move it around and see until we find a way that works for us. So yes, no changes? We're adding an executive session after the second privilege of the floor. That's it, okay? Everybody join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Anything to say, Helen?
Harry in the group.
Pledge allegiance to Harry and
Hermione.
Yes.
Nothing? You good?
Oh, this is my last board meeting before I go to school.
Oh, well, we'll miss you.
I leave 2 weeks from today.
Wow.
So
Now, what year are you in?
I'm the junior.
Wow.
Where are you?
Fast.
Are you at Binghamton?
No, Sienna. Sort of close to in that general northern area. So I won't see you guys till December.
Are you not coming home for Thanksgiving?
I'll be home for Thanksgiving, but your meeting will have already happened. So I won't see you guys till Have a great
Well,
day.
enjoy. Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting?
Of clerical, year end, and then the second page, used books. That's it. Just the used book didn't sell.
No, just folks, I got it. And I missed the first one, year end, what is it?
Treasurer's report. Second sentence.
Oh, there you go, I see. Okay. Do you make a motion to accept it as amended? Any second?
I second it.
Keith, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all opposed? Okay. Minutes accepted. The treasurer's report, thank you, Jack.
Good evening, everybody, thank you. How's everyone doing tonight? Good to see everyone again.
Good to see you too.
See everybody. Hope everybody's a little dry. So we have the report here for July 31st, the first month of the new fiscal year. So I entered the new budget in, so the whole year's budget is now in QuickBooks. But I did the report last week under a little bit of time constraints, so I just did 1 month. I didn't do the 3-month comparison, especially since it's the first month of the year. Although I guess we could have done a 3-month side by side, but due to time constraints, I just did it this one way. So this is the first month of the new fiscal year. The library charges look low, and then I looked like, why is it so low? And then I realized on August 1st I did a deposit for like $400. That was obviously money from the last few days of July. So that just hit after this report. So really the library charges are more or less on, but we're being a little ambitious with $24,000 for the year, $2,000 a month. I mean, I think that's pretty close to what we had the year just ended, but still we should be pretty close on that, but we're not going to be over on library charges like we had been the last year or two. The interest hasn't been booked yet because Rob didn't get a chance to do the bank recs yet for July, but the interest is probably a couple $100. We had 2 payrolls in July, and you could see that we're about $734 under, so like $300 or $400 under on each payroll. So we're off to a pretty good start. But later on in the year, when we start opening on Sundays, it's gonna make that a little closer. So hopefully we'll build up a little bit of a lead being under budget before that happens. The books are entered through June, so maybe at the next meeting I'll run another report for June, since June is more near complete than it was last month, because last month all the books hadn't been entered at that point. But I didn't want to get into two reports at one meeting, so I just did July, but the books haven't been entered yet. That'll be the next project. Nothing else really stands out. Answer, we made one quarterly payment, plus we also did, was it the Envision, I think, Matt, or something that it's called? Yeah, so that appears, although it's over budget, but that's something that we have during the year once a year. And the total budget for the year, I think I spread it out over 4 payments, so that's why it appears as though we're over, but we'll probably aim to be right on at the end of the year for Answer. Because the fee increase that we had been expecting the last year or two hadn't really happened, so we'll have to monitor that to see if the rates stay where they had been staying. Community development, the program number is a little high because Ken had a lot of programs in July, so that's why that number stands out a little bit. And that's about it for the month of July. Nothing else really stands out. The loan on the balance sheet is down to $328,792, and after the August 1st payment, it's down to $321,741. So getting closer and closer to that halfway mark. I got a call. I was in the office today in the morning to the early afternoon, then I went home. Then I came back and I had a message on my machine that the TAN check will be in tomorrow for the $75,000. So tomorrow I'll go over and pick it up and deposit it. But we have as of this report, we had a little over 100,000 in the checking, but we've had a payroll since then, so I think we're down to 70,000 or so. But we still have about 75,000 in the Orange County. So the TAN should be enough to get us through to the end of September, 6 more weeks or so, 2 or 3 more payrolls, and then we'll get, on September 30th or October 1st, we'll get our first full tax check minus the 75,000, repayment of the TAN and the $100 interest. So on September 30th, we'll be fully funded, but we definitely have enough funds to make it to the next 6 weeks.
Paying it really tight, aren't we, this year? I don't remember us being this tight before.
Well, right now we have 75,000 in Orange County as of today, and like 60-something thousand in the Key. So that's like 130, and then we're going to get 75 tomorrow.
Okay,
Yeah, so without the 75, you could see then it really would have been
To the penny.
to the penny.
Yeah.
So that's why it's, comforting to know that we have that as bridge financing until September 30th. But yeah, it sounds close now until I do that deposit tomorrow, so. And I think I have some cash in the box too to deposit, so that'll be a few $100s more as well.
The miscellaneous expenses, it's 457% of the budgeted amount. What is that?
Oh, I gotta look what's in there. I think there was some computer equipment purchases for the Historical Society that's in the miscellaneous line. I have to double check,
Okay.
but that's why it's way off the figure. It's just saying basically that compared to the 416 budget, it's 4 times the budgeted
I
amount.
just was wondering what we spent, was it a one-time thing or?
Yeah, it was definitely one-time things.
Yeah, okay.
And there, since
It's
the,
not something that we need to look at and adjust. when
No.
we do the budget.
I don't think so, because I think since we're in the new year, things that we're waiting to get, we got it right away.
Gotcha.
And the budget had been spread evenly over each month for 12 months, so, one of those timing things. And one other thing I should bring up, we did get a little bit of bad news from the retirement. Last year when we did the budget, we always based it on the projection they give us, and every year for the last 3 or 4 years, the number that they send us in October, when they send the actual bill, 6 months later, it's been on to the penny. This time, it's the number changed, it went up 10,000. They projected 52,201, and now they gave us a new estimate, and it went up to 62,659. So, unfortunately, we're going to be 10,000 over on that line right off the bat. But that's the same line that for the last 3 years. One year it was like 30,000 below. One year it was, so it seems to be swinging, all over the place.
So do we have enough budgeted for that line?
No, we use the
We use
exact.
that amount?
Yeah, so we have to come up with 10,000 to,
And we have to do it by February?
if we pay it by December, we get a little bit of a discount, so we.
Okay, so we have to figure out where to find the money by December.
Right, right.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was an unusual, because they've always been right on, even when it was under, we knew right away it was gonna be under, because the projection, when I got the projection, I was happy that it was lower than what, this time it went the other way, so. And this is the first time that the updated projection showed a different number, so. And I, also last year, I think they gave us this one, when it went up considerably last year when we did our budget. They sent it well in advance, because they knew that there was people were gonna be, surprised, and they even gave an option where you could do, I guess, amortized payments or whatever if people didn't have the full amount. So I guess they're trying to give everybody a heads up, but even with that, it still came in a little bit higher than that. So that's the only issue that's come up that's been a curveball so far.
So what, and that's, what is that again?
The state retirement,
The retirement, so that's just a state mandated based on the people we have here who
right.
potentially would be retiring or who have retired?
Yeah, retirees
both.
plus current employees,
Okay.
right. So it's, I guess the state retirement is under financial pressure as well, so maybe their rates of how they figure it changed since they did the first projection back in last October.
So what is it for? Is it for will be monies paid to those that are retired, or that we have enough in the account to accommodate those that will retire?
We pay
Future.
both, right, current retirees and future retirees.
It's both.
It's both.
the employer contribution to the retirement fund, to the state.
Right.
And it's based on who we have working here and who we've already,
Who's
Okay.
retired.
who's already retired. so
But
it's just-
currently getting, and then people that
Right.
will be getting, and then depending on what tier they're in, and they base it off, I guess, projected salary, and it looks like our projected salary went up, because I guess we have people that were not in the retirement, when they first did the projection,
That much,
20,
yeah, 20.
enough to make a little bit of a difference,
Yeah, I guess so.
maybe not the full 10, but maybe some of it, but it must be that their rates went up a little too or something.
Mhm.
But anyway, that's the only unpleasant news.
Jack, these notes indicated that we have 4 people, retired people already, that we're paying for retirement benefits.
Health insurance.
Prior to this, I thought we only had 2 people,
We have
and
4.
now it's,
Is it 4? Yeah, 4, I believe.
this indicates that now that number is doubled since.
No,
the-
Insurance or
the-
retirement system?
that's health insurance. This other one is retirement.
Right, but it's still retired.
Right, yeah,
Retired people.
one benefit to another,
Right.
2 different, right, but they're both retirement. But no, we only currently have 4 retirees that we're paying for. Right, 4. And 2 of them actually work at the library now part-time, and then the other 2 are fully retired, so there's 4. Maybe the
So
number,
that's how we got to do the 2 are fully retired and 2 are back working at the library, so
right.
that's somehow whether it got out that we had 2 that were fully, okay.
Right. And also, did you see the number on that? Remember last meeting's report, the gas to 45? The number was substantially lower than what Rob Schultz had feared that it might be. Over the 30 years, he said 1 or 2 million. It was only like half a million or something like that. But it wasn't as draconian as we feared it might be. But even now, it's still just a guess. So it could go back the other way by next year. But for now, it didn't look as heavy as a hit as what he had feared it might be.
But these numbers are astronomical if you really think about it. We're talking 4 employees already retired, and we're talking 5 employees eligible for retirement at some point, 9 people. We're paying $62,000 a year. for retirement benefits.
This
Yeah,
is the
it-
pension.
This is- yeah, this is-
62,000.
yeah.
62,000 is for the pension.
I know.
Right, no, but you're saying benefits includes health insurance and everything else. That's
No, I'm not.
No, that's separate,
That
right?
62,000 is retirement benefits. It's not health,
Right, that's
Just,
one,
just retire, just.
not health at all. You
Right.
just-
Well, when you say retirement benefits, it sounds like that's what you're talking
No,
about, the
just,
whole nut.
but just retirement,
Just the pension
just
paycheck,
pension.
yeah.
For right now, it's 9 people.
Mhm.
for the health.
No, but he's talking
No.
about 62. That's for the people who've retired and who still
This-
are paying into the
Right.
system. This is what's costing us every year.
Right. But on this,
Divided by 9, what's it come to?
$7,000.
$7,000 a piece a year.
But we have, on this, it's unlike the insurance. The insurance, we have 4 retirees. On the retirement system, we only have a handful. The majority of the people that are on the report every month are currently employees.
I mean, that's not fair. It's not a fair way of looking at it because we're looking at, well, maybe it is because we only have 5 full-time employees. So it is a fair way of looking at it. That with 9 people, that we're paying $62,000 a year. It's just seems to be for retirement benefits. It seems to me we could go out and buy an annuity for that.
I don't think we're allowed to. They're New York State employees. So I don't think, this is all very well and good, but this is a discussion to have in Albany.
Yeah.
We
Right.
don't have a choice about this, do we?
No.
They're state employees, so we
They
pay
have to
into
be
the state
offered it, right.
pension. Yes, dear.
Can I get that 52,000 and 60,000 number repeated, please?
Yeah, the
62,
last year.
659.
Yeah, that's the projection for this year's.
And the 50?
The
original estimate was?
201 was last year's, the projection for February of, they upped it 10,000.
Thank you.
Any more questions
I
for
mean,
Jack?
we can ask our employees to contribute to the plan. like
They do, they
most
contribute
of them.
3% each up to 10, for 10 years,
There's no
except the new.
asking.
There's no asking, it's
No.
a, it's a, it's
They
a
have
state,
to, right.
they're state employees, so there's, the state already makes this decision
they're
for
We're
us.
State
bound, we're bound
employees.
by
Right, well, they
Civil
are,
Civil
because,
service.
their
well, there's
civil service
states, right,
agreement.
but the.
State ed.
It is, it's, and there's a way that they already, it isn't up to us. If it was up to us, we probably would do it differently, and they probably would be okay with that, but it's not up to us. So, any other questions for Jack? Could I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report? Frank and Bernie, and all in favor?
Sounds like a movie.
I just make one other quick point.
Yes, go ahead.
Back to the health insurance, the retirees, whatever we have now, whatever we have in the future, the policy set by the board was that the library is paying half, so the library's not paying the whole amount.
Right,
They're
right.
paying
They're
50%.
paying,
So,
yeah.
so just bear that in mind, it's not the full quote.
Oh, we didn't even
And
discuss
they
that.
pay, no,
We didn't even discuss that.
No, but you brought up the health from that GASB 45 report, that how many people are on the,
So just the number.
yeah. But just to bear in mind that the library's not paying for all retirees 100% of the health, it's half.
thank you, Jack.
Sure, thank you.
Okay, committee reports, anybody got anything to, Physical Resources Committee got anything? I would expect Jim would have something to say, but he's not here.
What would you
I'll
expect?
fill
to
in on
have?
my.
Yeah, well, we have tree issues, we have
Right.
flooding issues, so do
Well,
we have a
what-
leak going today with all the rain we've had?
I didn't see it, I'm
No.
surprised.
I was gonna do a tap dance.
Well, what-
but you-
Go right ahead.
What is going on? Weren't you to get some?
Yes, I have somebody on deck. I just wanted to, I think I mentioned in the report, I had a guy, I called Cornell Cooperative Exchange. I'm hoping I get someone for free to come, an arborist, just to give us an independent,
Oh.
decision about the
Oh,
tree.
that's a great idea.
So,
What do we know?
but, well, just to have, you want me to discuss this now, I guess, as in lieu of,
Well,
Jim, or
since
wait?
Jim's not here,
Okay.
is that okay with everyone? If he just, it was gonna be part of the director's report, but it pertains to the Physical Resources Committee, so, all right, no problem? Just
No
making sure.
problem.
All right, well,
so
whatever.
that's actually the only real major point of business on, I think, tonight's meeting, actually, is what you want to do about the tree, because this gentleman's take on it was that the tree was solid. He said it was sound. It wasn't going to go anywhere anytime, but he did think it needed to be heavily trimmed on top to take weight off of it.
So,
So now you gotta, yeah, well, I mean, he was of the mind that it would stand for years before being a hazard of falling. He did some kind of sounding on it. I don't know exactly what that is, but some sort of test. And $75, but he said that with that comes that I can
A
contact
guarantee?
him. No guarantee. I don't think. Actually, he was supposed to email me. I wanted to bring it tonight. He hasn't gotten back to me with a written. But he did say that anytime there's any question or you're concerned, he's in Goshen all the time. I think he works out of Middletown. He said he would come by and look at it and give you, if there's a storm, if there's anything that might change the situation, he would stop by and look at it again and give us gives advice on what to do. So I talked to our tree maintenance person, and he said he's happy to go either way whenever we're ready. I said I'd give him a definite decision tomorrow. He said he could either remove it or he could just do just heavily prune it, and said it's up to us. So
Same cost as removal?
no,
Cheaper
it
than-
would be
No,
cheaper
we'll
to
discuss it.
Okay.
Well, given that we had our first taste of a tornado, a heavy pruning, heavy hand that takes the heaviest branches off,
Right.
when you land on the building.
And he
The
said,
trunk of it doesn't seem, if anything, it would kind of lean toward the building.
there's a number
the other way?
there's a number of trees also growing up through it, which he said makes it pretty stable, even if by chance there was a heavy enough wind. I mean, he got into prevailing winds. He was talking directions, and he said where this tree is, there's very little chance that a wind is going to come that way unless it's some kind of micro burst or something like that, which of course can happen. But he didn't feel like the tree was any more at risk than any other tree in the immediate area for falling. But he did say it does need to be would do well to have a good pruning and to lighten the top. There's a lot of dead branches up on the top.
there was some branches midway that were rotted. It seemed rotted,
Right.
and thought
Yeah, he
was
mentioned-
that was inside the main bearing of the tree, the trunk of the tree, and
Right,
he
right,
says it's
right.
okay.
He
I'm
did
not
what he
an
calls a
arborist. I
sounding,
just
you know.
observed.
Yeah, I don't know exactly
So-
what that means or if he used some kind of machinery or
Okay.
anything, but he said there's no indication of any rotting inside.
That's great. Okay.
He said, in fact, there's some, and this is an interesting point, I thought, sort of a Boy Scout thing. He did see some sort of mushrooms or fungi or whatever you call it around part of the base, and he said sometimes that's an indication of a developing problem, but in this case it probably is, probably superficial. Because as I say, he did this sounding and everything was solid the whole way up. He didn't hear anything that made him feel like it was going to be a potential problem anytime soon. Now, on the other hand, I know that Mark wants it down because it does throw leaves into the gutters on that side. And the tree, of course, would be happy to remove it. But I think that if we get that side of it cleaned up, which is the side you're talking about, the closest to the building, probably the leaves would be less of an issue too on that, the ones that are just overhanging the roof. So,
Okay.
that's all.
That's cool.
It would be a nice thing not to have to lose a tree.
Yeah.
Did everyone, for the Human Resources Committee, give Tiffany the,
We're supposed to give it to her tonight.
yes, I know, she's not here. I wasn't able to get email at home because of the weather, but I just left the email on my phone. She wasn't going to be in. I don't know what we're going to do with those, but I think if we collect them and just hold them in the library for her, she can get them tomorrow or something. If you haven't already handed it in. I won't let Matt look. It'll be our little secret.
Now, having said that, I also should mention that my luck hasn't been great lately, so I don't want this pinned on me if it does fall. I just got word. I helped a friend of mine with a record. He's a folk artist. I helped him with some lyrics and music, and I just got word that all of the stock in England of his record that was just printed burned up in the riots.
Oh no!
So it's like, God.
Oh,
So I
that's
feel like anything I touch turns to, you know what I mean?
So don't
It's-
go near the tree.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. So I give you that piece of information about the tree. Maybe I'm not gonna.
We're not London.
But right.
No, community resources, do you need people to help you with something, or is that taken care of?
No, I think
No.
that's
done?
It's up to you. I mean, I don't know when you want to, if you want to decide tonight, keep the tree. Do you want to, I don't know if this is something that needs to be voted on or how you want to proceed with it, but.
Well, I thought that was what the executive
Oh,
session was.
no, that's the Mason.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, well, all right, so do you wanna just discuss, but it's an unfinished business. So
Okay,
why
we
don't
can
just
come
wait
back
till
to
we
it,
get
sure.
Okay.
The tree?
The tree is an unfinished business. We haven't finished it. Any other committee? Anything? Anybody? Sunshine? Anything happy going on? All right.
But,
Can you bring some
since,
sunshine?
I'll let you know about
information
Jim, and if it's serious, I'll send you an email. Okay, director's report. Okay, déjà vu. Yes.
Well, you probably noticed from the other department heads' reports, very busy this year. Even though I was talking to David Maloney, computer statistics are higher than usual by a good margin. I mean, the library was just roiling for most of the summertime, really. I mean, it's dead now, but we ended the summer program on Friday. But every event that Michelle threw was a wild success. It was really something. In fact, if my report seems sort of skimpy, it's most of August was spent in late July just helping Michelle, trying to keep things rolling and doing a lot of reference desk stuff, filling in. But yeah, it was a successful year. It was great, actually. We had the final, I won't go into the details of a little snafu because it all worked out, but the final program was a face painting artist down the street here. We used the Main Street School because we had over 100 kids, I think, right here that. And I actually wish I saw it because there's a book, I meant to find it, but we didn't have time.
That's fine.
Book that he's printed. I mean, it's just amazing. You think of face painting, but this guy's an artist. I mean, he could, draw silhouettes of elephants and, animals walking across these kids' faces that really look like a painting. I mean, it's beautiful with the sunset behind them. It was just spectacular work. And and Michelle thought ahead and had tables set up down here so that if any of the kids didn't get a chance to have their face painted, they had teen volunteers to do, So everybody was involved. The parents were raving about it. It was really a great success. It was a lot of fun.
No one was turned away because of lack of space or anything?
No, well, that's where we were down there, yeah. And the stuff, but then when they came over here, we were out in the yard, so we were okay. It would have been too, it was overflowing. One thing I forgot to mention, actually, a minor point, not having anything to do with that, but the boiler inspector came and our boiler is still in good working condition. So, it's a building concern that I forgot to add. Let's see, I'm sure you've heard about this Help America Vote Act law coming down the pike. This is where we may, I'm not sure, Carol knows more of the details, but may or may not in the near future have to switch over from voting machines with the levers to those big optical machines that I've yet to use, actually. I don't know, and there's a cost attached to it because apparently you have to have a ballot made for every single eligible voter. I mean, we're talking about where our vote brings out 300 people. If we're lucky, 400 people. We have to have, how many ballots would that be? So 10,000. From what we understand now.
Cost $1 per sheet.
Are you kidding?
No.
And I
You
used,
have to have one for every voter available to them,
Just in case
Luckily.
they show up.
just in case they show up. And they're pre-printed, so it's not like they could be used again at any other time. It's singular to that vote.
Sounds like the
The
timber
good news
industry
is
had a
that
word in
I
it.
was
that
just gonna
people
say.
in power recognize that this is a hardship for
A
little places like
library.
us, and they've grandfathered us in for our next vote. But December 2012 will be the collapse of that privilege. And so we are hoping that the RCLS and the other, people rally around our cause and are able to extend it even further than that.
Or there's the option to use
In
paper
the digital
voting.
age, I think that
There
it
is
is
a-
Good.
get a
One
computer,
minor-
stick the faces,
Yeah,
the
right.
numbers,
One
point,
minor
and
thing
done.
that's a clause in that whole thing, and that says that we can go to paper ballot. Now, in my opinion, it's not the best route, but when you think of the money, it's
Yeah.
the best thing to do.
Sure.
If they take away our privilege with the lever machines, paper ballot is definitely the way the Goshen Library should go, because otherwise the money option, the money that cost us it would ruin our budget.
No, a paper ballot would be this with everything written on it and people drop it off at the library.
Exactly.
And-
No, they have to come in. and pick
Oh, well,
up.
that was my next question. Is
Yes.
it like we're gonna have voting open for 2 weeks or everybody has to be here that one day and do
Yeah.
it?
The one
One
day,
day.
Okay.
and
Okay, so we could print that out on one of our computers here.
Yes, yes,
Right.
it could be less cost than what we do right now.
Yeah, right.
All
I was gonna
right,
say,
we're
you can go
doing
to
it.
Staples and get
Why
like
not? Why wouldn't we
500
do it?
copies for
If we
25
have that
bucks.
out.
So, that's in the wording of the proposal as it stands so far, so.
Yeah, well,
They
if
have-
we're talking, you know, $70 as opposed to 10,000.
Yeah,
I think
and
it's
they have
a no-brainer.
examples on how to print out these ballots.
It hasn't been, it's just not that far yet. We're still operating on the.
Assumption being there probably will be some
That they will
examples.
extend it for us.
Yeah.
But the assumption on, if we're gonna,
Buy a
we
spare
we
leisure
would be
park.
creating our own ballots, right?
Yeah.
What, on our votes right now, with our lever machine, I always have 50 paper ballots, in case something goes down and the
Okay,
machine power
so we
goes
know the
out.
format, we know
Right,
how
yes.
it has
You
to
already
lay out.
noted it.
We are always ready to do
Good.
that. So the procedure of how it's done and how it's laid out is known.
Okay.
Yes.
All right,
It
good
wouldn't be
for
that
now.
difficult.
So what?
So you just flip through, you count, whatever.
So our next vote is still the way it has been.
Yes,
Yeah.
still
Okay.
with we still have the
Lever.
privilege on the old machines for another year.
As long as the lever machines last.
Well, that's the.
Aren't
Yes,
they
that's
from,
true.
aren't they from the county?
That's what I was gonna say,
Actually,
we
from the
don't-
school board
we
has
don't own
2
them,
machines.
Oh, okay, it's not from the county and they've switched over where you may not have
Right.
access to them regardless?
Right.
Okay,
The county no longer has those machines.
what I was
They
thinking.
have use of the 2 at the school.
okay.
And the problem with that is that at the school, after a vote, machines are sealed for 30 days. So we always schedule our vote 30 days before the school schedules theirs.
Ah.
And if anything, if our vote was contested, they would seal it and we would have the 30 days to work, to iron things out.
Hmm.
But if for some reason our vote went down and we had to do another vote before the end of the fiscal year, we wouldn't have machines because the school, I mean, that, now we're all talking, you know, if, but-
yeah, right.
but there's only 2 machines available to us. And if we had a referendum vote, the county said that I had to have 3 machines last time because the possibility of a greater number of people coming in to vote.
Mhm.
I was required to have 3 machines on that day.
Yeah.
But the small 300 voters come in, I only need 2 machines for the kind of vote that we're doing now.
Okay.
But I'm keeping both eyes on it,
Yeah.
not just one eye, I got both eyes on this subject.
Now, is this going to affect the schools too? Aren't they eventually going to turn over to this other machine?
They have access to both,
Uh-huh.
so they like the lever, but they don't mind using the other because they have the floor space, they have,
Right.
but hitting their budget, they're crying.
Yeah, sure.
It's
Sure.
hit their budget very badly.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because they have the same
Same issue we
10,000
have.
people we have.
Yes.
Fine.
So it's 2013, the
Yes.
elections of 2013.
Right.
Yes, but we would be thinking of it in terms of the budget that would be going out next December.
Yes.
Right, because we're going to have to factor in
2012,
that
we would
extra
have to factor
$10,000 just for the vote.
And
And-
10,000
For one
At
vote.
least.
20,000.
It begins
At
to add
least.
up.
And
It
we
sure
might have
does.
to change the place where it would be held as well because
Right,
there's-
because they're not going to
each
fit,
machine
yeah.
has to have 16 feet around it, clear space.
So we'll be out
Oh,
over in our
Jesus.
Salesian property having a
There's a lot
vote.
of, there's a lot of ifs and ands.
Holy
Like I
cow.
said, I'm watching it, so I hope to be able to report back when I know something from them.
Well, thank you. Anything else, Jeff?
We have some staffing changes. We have a couple people leaving. Clerk Ashley Hughes, Mary Pat Smith, all good people. Nina, who's our part-time reference librarian. So Linda and Eleanor are looking to hire someone to plug back into their hours.
For free.
New York State Retirement Cavity.
Yeah, we do too.
There were no Friends meetings, so not much to report on that. We have to have hold our book sales down by the county government center from now on with the rest of the.
They
It
moved
looked
the
kind of
phones
funny
in.
if we were over at Shepherds Fire Idol. So, but
Don't be there by yourself.
Probably wouldn't be very successful.
no, probably not. I did get news today from the mayor, actually, that they reviewed the contract that we have with the village, and the village attorney was in agreement that easement is the municipality's responsibility.
Matt? As I remember, and as I read, we're talking about the Salesian.
Right.
We did not allow an easement. There is no easement involved, and I think our legal people should be very certain about that, and we should never talk about an easement.
Well, I've been looking at the
Because it-
papers just the last couple of days, and it's filled with the word easement, up, down, left, right, and center. So unless
That's
something
them.
massive changes.
They're
no,
using
that's
the
our-
word easement.
That's our
Our-
document to them.
That's the deal.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Because we
too.
allowed them access to our property. We did not, there was never an easement.
What's the difference?
The difference is that if we allow an easement, it becomes permanent.
Well, there's a way around it. Once
You'll close it down every
once a
once
year.
in a while, and
Yeah.
we've gotta talk about that, because
Well,
Once
it's
a year we
definitely
deny
in the
access
legal
to it.
papers.
and
I
we have to talk about that, and we should get our legal people to talk about where we can gain and get legal control over that property to
Right.
keep from losing control.
Of that driveway there.
But by allowing people to have access through it, we
Yeah,
can give up control of that property.
All right, I'll call the lawyer.
Was it in exchange for them mowing the grass?
Yeah.
Was it?
That is
No,
my
that-
We
understanding.
gave them access, they drive across our property to get to their parking lot, and in
Right.
exchange, they mow the lawn
mow the
and
lawn.
maintain that driveway that they've created for themselves on our property. I don't, I know that the simplest way to keep the property ours is to not have them access one full day a year. There's a college in the city that has a street, they shut the street down
Right.
one full day a year. They
The
did.
Rockefeller Center.
Yeah, they shut the
Perfect
street
example,
down.
they
They
closed it
shut the
down.
street down one full day a year and deny people right to drive on it, and so they continue to own that street, even though it's right dead center of Manhattan. Oh, like, good for you. But that's the same, that's how you
And we
maintain the
definitely
ownership.
should. and,
We
yeah.
should, absolutely. It's
Sure.
easy enough to do.
And I think we absolutely have to.
Oh, yeah. I don't think you're wrong. And I don't know how dire the situation is, but we should take a look at that and make sure.
I mean,
And,
because,
you
I
know,
mean,
and Frank can stand there with a shotgun.
realistically, I mean, it could become, there
could.
could
No,
come
it's
a
a legitimate-
point where someone's trying to build a library there,
Mhm.
and you cannot build a library there because
we've allowed the
someone
driveway.
has a road that they want to build to a soccer field.
Right,
Okay.
Yeah.
Look into it, thank
So the
you.
lingo needs to be,
right.
We're
We just
still
have to
clear
make
that
sure
it's
that we
ours.
still retain the ownership of it. And once a year, Frank will stand there.
the day after they mow.
Non-drop ass. What's that?
We'll pick a date, you
We'll
know,
pick a date and we'll just send Frank over there with a
Pick
mug
a
of
rainy
coffee.
day.
December 31st.
There you go.
No one has
No one's
access to
done
it.
it. The thing is, if we actually, no access, put a chain across it for one day, no access, that solves the problem.
December 31st, January 1st.
There you go, right, whatever.
That
would be
We'll
so
pick a
fun to
date.
use.
Who's to know? Does one take a picture of this chain across the road?
You can.
And
if
Do
you
we
want.
announce
With
this?
a newspaper.
With the newspaper.
You know, you have a date, hold it hostage.
You probably have to put a legal notice in the paper.
Yeah, maybe. It may not be that
I'd
complicated,
say we
but
choose one day a year,
we should.
you know,
Just choose one day a year
December
and shut.
31st, go back there.
Do it in the winter.
Nobody, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
I
the
don't-
cross-country skiers who
I
might,
hate to
I
tell you,
don't know.
Goshen PD,
They have to be on duty?
it's the only way they get in and out of that place.
It's
Do
the
they
dirt.
actually plow it in the winter?
No, well, it's a
no.
dirt road, so I don't know how they
Yeah.
could plow it in the winter.
You could plow a dirt road.
I suppose you could.
Money's
but
being
I don't know
spent
if
on
you would.
plowing that.
Yeah, right. I think the mayor has some
explaining
splaining to do if he's plowing dirt roads. Just saying.
Just saying.
Oh, you done with
But I'm pretty sure we never gave them an easement as such.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly the language that was used, but I think it
Yeah.
was an easement for the purposes of that kind of a thing, not a blanket, here you can have this 5-foot wide stretch of land. It was for the purposes of allowing them access to their parking lot. I think that's how it's worded. But we'll just double check with the attorney, because you're right, we don't want to forfeit any of our property without getting paid for it.
New website should be done before next board meeting.
WordPress?
WordPress,
That's
yes.
awesome. isn't
Yeah, it
it?
is. That's definitely fun. I mean, David Maloney's
Easier.
much more on what's going on, but yeah, definitely easier for the regular user.
Everybody can
Yeah.
just, everybody have their own page and fix it.
No more midnight.
Waiting for
Oh,
David.
how could he spell there?
You said the newsletter is also going digital?
Well, we would like to do it side by side with the paper, and that's something that we're working on with David is also working with well, Constant Contact is one way to do it, but David thinks that he may be able to do it with the tools we already have. Either, I'm not quite sure I follow him, with either WordPress or the Google domain or something, some way of doing it free, because Constant Contact would cost, not a lot, but a little. But there may be a way to do the same kind of thing without any cost, so.
It would still be
Well-
cheaper than printing it if you went with the
But-
digital copy.
I thought we'd
Well,
discuss
this is, we're gonna keep doing the printing alongside. It's just gonna be a,
Okay,
Yeah.
because you just
No,
do
we're
a
not.
creation of a PDF, post your PDF, and you have it
which we
online as
do
well.
have, right, we do that.
Yeah.
But we want to figure out a way to sort of start asking people, just to, as, so that it would.
Whether they would forego the
Opt-in.
printed
Right.
copy, yes,
That
that'd
kind
be
of
great.
Right.
For green.
Have an opt-in
Opt-in.
page, and you just opt into the digital.
Or is it
thing
opt-out?
instead. I don't even know. I think you have to opt in, actually.
Opt-in to opt-out.
Now comes some more not so good news about the
Yes.
building
Yes.
BOCES. You saw BOCES came and did their study, and for some reason, I called BOCES, and BOCES decided to send our results back to Jim Riley instead of back to me. There's confusion. at the
Sure, they sent
superintendent.
our results to Jim
Yeah.
Ryan, not the schools?
I called them Friday, spoke to a nice woman, I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but I guess it's Jim's associate, and she couldn't find the paperwork. And then today she called me back, she had found it. And most of the test results that she had to do with the asbestos in the
Glaze?
yeah, in the right.
The
Is that what you call that stuff?
caulking?
The caulking.
Caulking.
Right.
Around the
I don't know
glass.
whether they have the paint. I think maybe the
Is that what you're
paint.
talking about?
Around the glass.
Yeah. that's
Yeah,
one.
yeah. The lead part of the equation, I'm not sure whether, it sounded to me when I talked to BOCES that both lead and asbestos had come back positive. That would make sense. I mean, the paint is old, I mean, but they
What-
didn't have a result for that yet. Go ahead.
The paint on the frame
Mhm.
of the windows?
Yes, yep.
Is lead?
Just the frame of the windows?
Yeah.
In their preliminary
Doesn't matter.
tests, and they did some
I
tests
know
while they were
exactly
here.
what you mean.
Those are the that's what's strange. I don't know why they get back the asbestos tests and not the paint tests, according to the contact at the school. I'm waiting. So I'm going to call BOCES again tomorrow, see if I can track
Asbestos
them
in the
down.
cork.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because now that put obviously we were looking to find a carpenter to address some of the structural problems in the building. Painting could be done. Now that got pushed back because when the carpenters came, they said, I can't give you a price until I know whether you have to deal with lead and asbestos, because I'll have to also deal with that like a painter. Just because I'm not painting, I'm still going to be scraping and moving stuff around, and we are also bound by those same new regulations.
Well, maybe it's cheaper to replace the windows than to paint them.
Could be at this rate.
and deal with the asbestos abatement. I mean, come on.
So
Cha-ching, cha-ching, that's all I'm hearing.
anyway, so
Yeah, lead in the paint, asbestos in the caulk, and it's just on the window so far. Who knows where else it is?
Asbestos in the cork.
I know.
When was the last time it was done? 1960, 1970?
Yeah. When asbestos was wonderful and they put it in everything.
Yes. Breathe it in, people.
It was in your hair dryer, it was everywhere. Yeah, I don't know. Well, you don't want your caulk catching fire, Frank, you know.
I had a mason come by. I can show you his estimate for the repointing we had talked about on the sides of the building and there it is, and that deteriorating stairwell back there. And I think, I'm not sure who came up with this good idea first, but I think it is a good idea. Out here where we're having a problem with the sidewalk, with the car driving up, I'd like to say this is my idea, but I don't think it may have been Carol's or it may have been the Masons. I contacted an asphalt company today. I'm thinking, why don't we just, it's, 8 by 4 of a piece of grass on the sidewalk? I think we could probably just roll asphalt right out to the road the way they have it across the street and just widen our parking lot by three, almost 4 spaces and also take care of that problem, because that's gonna keep getting broken over and over again unless we put a big pole. If we keep the sidewalk, we're gonna have to put some poles or something around it. But we need the space, you know, I mean, it makes sense just to,
Very, very interesting.
go,
Very nice.
just roll over that.
Yeah.
So,
It was hilarious, actually. He was explaining this to me, and we're standing in the parking lot, and he's talking about, and just as he walks back into the building, a truck backs out of, right up onto our sidewalk. And I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
talked to Noslisi,
and what'd he say?
and he said he thought that he could get a nice little deal going with Watt and get something done on that thing.
Oh,
And that fella, I guess it just, he was all excited and thought that, and then I guess it just,
Kiki mean to
because he thought he was really excited and said, this is what he thought he would get Watt with putting on his black hood and his and his shiny black belt and all of that sort of, and come out and really do a job on this one. And
Well, that's another possibility.
But you've provided a solution that's it takes care of two things. It's
Right.
We do
one
need
one bird,
space.
two
We definitely
stones,
need-
whatever.
yeah, we need
Two
space.
stones, one bird.
I just wonder if you
That's
could
the
move
way
the
I know.
parking lot all the way over there
Yeah,
and
this
block
is-
the sidewalk and legally.
I'm assuming, I will see tomorrow when they get back to me. I would imagine that these guys, are right in Goshen, will know right off the bat, you know, the codes and stuff. They should be able to tell me.
Right.
I was gonna go back to Mike and ask him directly, but I figured rather than deal with the village, I'll just talk to somebody who does this for a living, and they'll look at it and say you can or you can, or I'd ask.
Can
the
or
village.
can put additional
I
spaces
imagine you
instead
can.
of the
Yeah, well,
sidewalk?
we have the sidewalk there, but the sidewalk actually goes to where the employee parking
Right.
is. So it would just be kind of like extending the employee parking a couple
Yeah.
of spots out. But it wouldn't be employee parking, that would be patron parking and.
You know, whatever we do, a truck will back up onto that area.
And if somebody's parked there, they're gonna get whacked.
Well, usually it's usually it's not the backing up.
not. Hopefully-
Usually
Hopefully
it's
it
parallel.
doesn't
They're
fly
usually
there.
they usually just drive right up on it. I haven't seen. I mean,
Yeah.
she saw a
Interesting.
new thing. I have never seen them back onto it.
Yeah,
I've seen them
okay.
just
I
put the
definitely
wheels
wanna
up
park
on it.
I'm not
So
gonna-
that
You
so
can
that
park
that
there.
will stop. You know, they'll actually they would have a little more room to maneuver
Bicycle
now.
rack.
Everyone would be happy. I
It
think.
actually, I think, would be longer than an
It would
actual
be,
parking
yeah.
spot. So they'd still have,
It'd
the
be
curb
3
wouldn't
feet
be there.
probably.
They don't really go all the way up to where they wouldn't hit the back of the cars that were there
Right.
anyway.
Hmm.
Because the curb sticks out further than the cars do.
Okay.
And the curb is getting cracked and worn and beat up because they keep driving over it, so we might as well
It
just
would be an
get rid of it.
extension of where the employee parking. The cars would be in as far as the employee, those 3 slots. So there's
Mhm.
still a few feet before you hit the road. It's not
Right.
like they're right up on
Yeah,
the
so
street.
they probably wouldn't hit any
Yeah.
parked
There's
cars.
still.
Unless you're a big car and you can't park very well, then you're in trouble.
Oh,
That's
well.
it.
I got hit out there. One of our coworkers was back in not in that spot. I was across from the.
It's a coworker, I know.
That workman's comp, we can't.
You're right. You're on your own right.
Do you want me to follow that up with Nug Lucy or leave it alone
Well,
at this point?
Let's just put it on. Let me speak first to the asphalt guys.
And I'm
and
sorry
see.
I let it go, because I had just assumed that the way he was jumping up and down on it, that he would have followed that up. And I thought from your notes here that it had been solved.
Yeah, I didn't hear from Chief Watt. or anybody.
Otherwise, I would have followed up, and I'm sorry.
That's all right. Well, I'll try the asphalt crew first and see if it seems reasonable price and it's not.
Oh, it will be. Just had my driveway
Yeah.
asphalted,
Oh, yeah,
and
so-
I was surprised at how low it
Okay.
cost was.
And what else? That's the dead limbs. I got
To the front yard, too.
That's it.
That's it.
Awesome.
I think so.
We did talk about the legality of closing off the sidewalk, if we did mess around with that
You're-
originally.
Right.
It was, yeah,
And we
A
didn't
while
have
ago.
They walk across the entrance
yeah,
now.
there doesn't seem to be an issue with the employee parking, so I don't imagine there will be one if we just put 3 more
I
spaces
don't
just
see why.
like it.
I mean, I went out there today and looked at it again, and I was looking across the street from us. I was looking. It would be a reflection of what they basically have in
Yeah,
terms
yeah.
of. And there's sidewalk up, and it stops and goes again. I don't think
Right.
the interruption in the sidewalk should be a problem because there would still be room to walk. flowers, you know?
Yeah,
You should stay in a straight line. Get you there.
they aim for the next piece of sidewalk.
And now we gotta find an answer to the problem.
Yes. Yeah, well, thank you, Matt.
Okay.
Unfinished business. Let's talk about the oak tree.
Oh, about
We're back to the oak tree.
Severe pruning.
Yeah, I'm for pruning it. And, I don't know, what does everybody else feel? Would you prefer to prune it, cut it down?
How much is the prune?
I don't remember, but it was cheaper.
Well, how
And the
much was-
idea of not removing a tree when, you
Yeah,
know,
no.
the whole, okay, we removed the tree, now do we have more groundwater to deal with? And there's all that other stuff to think about too.
I remember the tree being over the building for the most part. I mean, most of it is over the building, so I don't know what pruning you could do.
I think that one big limb that hangs over the building, if you removed that, that would make a huge difference.
Okay, I don't.
I actually don't
all-
know.
I
I'm
don't have
assuming-
all limbs in mind, but
I
if
know
that's
from
the
the
case.
parking, the back parking lot, there's just that one limb that goes right out over the roof. I haven't climbed the tree and taken a look, so I can't give a more
it's a big tree.
educated
It's
description about it.
enormous.
Take a little off the top
Yeah, I think they probably would.
Well, they take it off the top.
and the big one.
From the big limb, I think. And what did the have a price?
I have a price for the total removal, but not for
Not for just
trimming.
limbing it?
But
Hope it
they
doesn't
did the
shift the weight.
sycamores last year. It was
Right.
only a few $100s.
That's a
200.
sycamore as well.
That's an
That-
oak.
That's an
It's an
oak.
oak.
Yeah,
Oh,
but they
something
did
like
the.
trim.
Hmm.
I had that catalpa taken down for I think 800 in front of my house.
That's the whole
Yeah.
tree.
Big tree.
Yeah, that's
So
about what they
That
were.
was the whole tree.
So it's removing the whole tree.
The whole tree.
The whole
Oh,
Maybe.
Remove it, haul it,
Stump,
the rest of
stump
it.
as well, or left the stump?
they left
But
the
everyone's
stump.
different, it's how they can get at it and how they can.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. Well, would the guy next to us allow them in his parking lot? To
You know what? I don't think he has to. I don't know if I
Where it
looked
is.
back there one day and I could see, oh yeah, actually you can get over to it from right behind here.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't think we have that to worry about.
Okay. So how do what do you want to do?
Trim the tree.
Yeah, trim the tree.
Trim the tree? So let's just make it official. Can I have a motion to
To trim the
the
tree?
Trim the tree.
not in a Christmassy sort of way? Okay.
How did Jim Sarvin's budget?
Do you have a budget?
I have Norma made a motion. Anyone second?
Yeah.
For people
Okay,
to trim the
Frank.
tree.
All in favor of trimming the tree?
Aye.
Okay, it
Aye.
passes
Tree.
unanimously. We're gonna trim the tree.
So but we were talking about getting estimates to trim the
Oh.
tree.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
It's
gonna
only
be-
gonna be a few $100,
It's
yeah.
gonna be less expensive than the cutting it down, which we already.
Which already-
Well, and you would think,
I don't think we have to vote on this again since we
and you
already.
would think
made-
after trimming it, if we did get it cut down, it'd be less money because there's
Because
less
it'd
to
be less
adjust.
tree, right?
Yes, did you want the motion to read with a dollar not to exceed?
Yeah, whatever the.
$700.
Thank you.
That sounds.
More than sufficient, I would think.
You think that's
They
good?
gave us a great price last time.
Yeah, okay, so we'll go with that, 700.
I had a
Not
tree
to
taken down
exceed
there.
700.
Everybody okay with that?
It shouldn't be, it shouldn't
It's
be.
not official, but,
Shouldn't be
yeah,
that
okay,
expensive.
sounds good.
Oh,
All right.
I'm sure.
Anything under
How
new
did Jim's
business?
budget?
I took some sycamore trees down on my own last,
Yeah, that was pretty good. I wish I'd watched that.
no, I did a good job. I was
I'm
safe.
sure.
and
He did it himself, the
I
branches
made
in
a
the front.
tool. I made a tool. and-
Made a tool and.
You know, it was one of those things where I started it.
Side business?
Service
Lots of
director, I
branches.
really wish we watched it.
Would you like a side business?
Yeah. That's how we can make some money for the library. We'll send Matt out cutting down people's trees.
After the last storm, I was picking it. Actually, we had 3 trees come down from the last snowstorm.
Wow.
Yeah,
Right on my front
Oh,
yard.
snowstorm?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a big,
We had a lot of
gorgeous
damage.
Oh,
trees.
don't you hate that?
Well, so often in this line of work, there's no like cut and dried feeling of like success. You know, it's sort of nebulous. So when this branch was hanging there, I was like, oh, damn it, gotta get this thing down. It took me a few tries, and I had to wait until the library was closed and nobody was around, and there was no car parked underneath it. But it got
No
it
rabbits
came down.
either?
That's right.
Did the, Danny was pointing out that tree on the corner of the property out in front.
That
Yeah, hollowed
hollow.
out. Yeah.
Yes, I had the same crew look at it last time. When they're here, I'll show them again. They didn't feel it was worrisome yet.
But the arborist too.
He didn't look at it. No, he just looked at the oak. Maybe I could have him swing back, but I didn't look at it.
Yeah, and then maybe
It seemed
also,
like a-
yeah, if you wanted to give any specifics about this tree,
Right.
compare it to what they
Right.
would say.
Yeah, I'll give him a call.
But yeah, that one looks.
Yeah, there's a name for that when a tree does, and I looked it up, and I can't remember. It's like a cat something, a cat. It's a weird. Oh, it'll come to me at midnight tonight, but it's an actual. Yeah, it's not an uncommon thing. Yeah.
Okay, is there any new business? Anything? Anybody? Okay. Anybody have proposed agenda meetings for next month?
This is new. We've added
This is a new thing, so that we don't have to.
Sometimes it's difficult for just the two of us coming up with stuff. So I
So
know a lot of directors say, "Well, if you have anything you might want us to
Yeah, if there's
talk
something
about."
We can
think we-
email you. or-
You can, right? No reason you can't, but you
Yeah.
know,
I
we're
mean, I
going
was
to
thinking
include
of
this.
the report that the staff gave us on, their,
Building.
the building and
Space.
their needs and wishes and that kind of thing, but I think maybe table that until after we have our work, session of September 19th. I
Right,
think they gave us, by the way, tell them thank you very much.
Sure.
They gave us good information,
they did, yes.
very good information, so a lot of food for thought.
Okay,
Good.
so we have no proposed agenda items.
Okay.
So privilege of the floor, you got anything to say, Howard?
Happy summer.
Okay.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. What am I missing? Labor Day, Thanksgiving.
Happy Halloween.
Halloween.
Happy Columbus.
Columbus Day, well, she's really on, wow.
I celebrate them all.
So maybe we'll see you at the farmer's market between now and then if you come home for a holiday or something. Okay, we're going to go into executive session, and we have to shut everything down. Do you know how to do that?
Oh, yeah.
You got it?
Jim usually is the secretary, but Carol leaves. Does Carol need
Okay.
to
Do we
leave
need a
for this?
motion?
We will in a second when, we're going to make a motion to.
Well, good night, everybody.
Hey, you too.
See you.
No, let's make a, well,
Thanks.
someone make a
They don't
motion at
finish.
8:28
Thanks. Good
for
seeing
going
you.
to executive session. Norma, and second that, please, somebody. And Bernie.
Actually, since it's contractual, I think Carol can stay. It's not a
Oh,
issue.
okay.
It's not a
All right, well then,
HR.
Carol can
personnel
stay,
issue.
yeah. So, but we